Welcome to Gulfstream Park West. Welcome to the Gulfstream Park West Handicapping Show. I'm Ron. That's Acacia. You got to know us by now. We've been here for how many days? This is my official calendar. We got, what, four left?
We have 4 left, including today. We have today and then 3 exciting days next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll be dark all next week when everybody's celebrating Thanksgiving. But again, we'll be back here Friday.
And Saturday, a couple of graded stakes races. So we're going to end the meet. And we got the Rainbow Six. And if it could last, we'll have mandatory payout. That'll be next Sunday. If it does last 1 week from today, we have over $72,000 in that pool. So it's starting to build. I almost thought they were going to get it yesterday.
Well, it was close yesterday. There were a couple horses that really figured alive. We were going into the final leg. We had been, as we were saying, every day it seems it's getting up a little bit more, and now really nice over $72,000, as Ron mentioned, but lots of other good betting opportunities on today's card.
Yeah, let's go through that menu. We're going to start it with the first of 2 pick fives in the afternoon, in case you'll have a ticket in just a little while. Now, the Rolling Super High Five is going to start in race number 2 this afternoon because you need 7 runners or more, and we got a 5-horse field in the opener, so that will start in race number 2. And as we mentioned, that Rainbow Six, race 5 today.
Race 5 today, 72,976 to be exact, is that carryover, and then race 6 starts the final pick 5, and I'll have a ticket for that as well.
Yeah, so we'll, by the way, it's absolutely fantastic here in South Florida if you're out there in simulcast land. For us, it's winter weather.
It's starting to feel a little bit cool. Finally, this morning, I had a little jacket, and I said, I'm starting to actually feel, I'm not used to November being like this being from the Northeast.
Well, let's go right into the first race. As I mentioned, a 5-furlong turf event. Claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, or 3-year-olds. They run for $30 down to $25,000. And as I mentioned, we do have a scratch in here of Zonto. That's the number 6. So we're going to be dealing with this 5-horse field. And how did you see the opener, at least on your ticket?
Well, I thought it was so hard, especially with the scratch, to narrow in on the first leg of this early pick 5. So I did actually just press the all button here. I went 5 deep, 5 horses, because I was able to find a single later on, and that's going to be with Sound Check in race number 5. So hopefully I make it through the first 4 legs and able to get that single home in the last Sound Check, looking for his 3rd win in a row. Still very affordable for $30.
Yeah, that's a sound way to do it. The first race, because any horse can jump up. I don't see anybody that, a stick out here where you would single. So I did go with the number 5 Final Encore. We'll face these non-winners of 2 lifetime competition. I thought a couple of well-meant turf sprints at the $25,000 optional claiming level, in which he rallied to finish 3rd and 2nd, respectively, as the favorite. His recent speed figures, it to me points him out as the one to fear in the opening event. If you look at the board right now, he's dueling with the number 1 Force Motion very early in the wagering. But that's how I saw it.
Very early in the wagering, and it does look like there's some potential early speed in here as well. Final Encore, who I agree with you, I put on top, would be the one to come running late here in this spot. So that's definitely appealing as well. You mentioned beaten as the favorite in his last 2. It was very close 2 starts back when he finished 2nd by a neck, actually dead heated with At the Ready there for 2nd. So, and they were only beaten a neck by the winner that day. So very tight race in there. Came back, ran a good 3rd last time. It looks like he's moving in the right direction, as you mentioned, with those speed figures. A $175,000 3-year-old gelding by Scat Daddy.
And the other horse that, as I mentioned, is actually currently favored now, Force Motion, undefeated in 2 previous 5-furlong turf sprints, making his first start since he went up. He pressed the pace. He faded. That was the 1 mile, $75,000 49. It was over at Gulfstream Park on June 18th. He's got to work over the track. It's a good work, so it looks like he's coming back. I was going with Final Encore because Force Nation coming off the break, he's going to get hounded a little bit, and I just thought maybe it sets up for the 5, but would I leave the 1 off like you didn't? No.
Absolutely not. And that was one of the biggest things in here. Tried Stakes Company and tried going a mile and a 16th. I don't think either of those things were in the wheelhouse for Forced Motion. Now coming off that 5-month break, which of course is a little bit of a question, cutting back to the distance that he certainly seems to prefer, but he's been on the shelf for a while, so that's why I had him in 2nd in here. The number 4, She Read My Text. I know this was a horse you liked last time off the layoff. Came off of about 6 months and won impressively last time. 2 seconds prior to breaking his main, and he's got to face winners for the first time today. And does he bounce a little off that win?
Well, I got to mention the number 3 in here, Contractor Jack, just because of the bond. Pedro Castillo, he's just been on fire. He's winning races, I think, at a 50% clip, making his first starts and showing promise on the turf against Cheaper. I think you watched the toe action here, and you see if you get a little bit of a price. 13 to 1 up now. Hard to leave this barn off the ticket the way they've been going.
I think so. 12 runners, 6 wins, so 50% with 2/3, and that's exactly why I went 5 deep in my pick 5.
Let's go to race number 2, and this is where we said the first of the rolling super high fives will start. This is a 6-furlong sprint on the fast main track. Claim is 3 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, $6,250. And I just thought, well, we're in total agreement here, with Nutty Boy on top. This one is stepping up to the next logical level. After stalking early and drawing clear late to feed $6,250, 2 lifetime claimers going 6 furlongs. That was on a sealed sloppy track. More importantly to me, I think this one sits the trip behind the speed in here. And one of those horses, the speed, is the horse that we put in second, and that's Horse Spotter Call.
Well, there's a lot to like about Nutty Boy, and he came off of a big layoff from February 2015 to September 2016, and since that break, he's been very strong in his recent races. He did win on the sloppy track last time, but he did break his maiden a couple starts back on the fast track right here at Gulfstream Park West, so that's definitely appealing for sure, and he's actually finished behind a couple other runners in this field, but again, that was finding his form off of that layoff. I think he's rounded into himself in here. Now, Horse Spotter Carl, there's really nothing to knock after he won against 12-5 non-winners of 2. I think they stepped him up too high to the 25 claiming level last time out. And I want to go back and show the start of that race because he just totally hesitated at the start there, and it didn't show the normal kind of speed, as you mentioned, he normally did. He was the number 4 that day. This was on November 11th, and it's a little bit hard to see from the head-on view here, but he threw his head and just really hesitated at the start and was far behind the rest of the field early on. And again, it was against much tougher. He's taking a big drop now, but this just might be where he needs to be.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be on the engine today. He just didn't break right, and his game is to be up there. Another horse that's going to be prominently placed, and the reason I went with the 3 Nutty Boy is Joey Sixpack. This one, he defeated Nutty Boy going 5.5 furlongs. That was 2 starts back. He breaks from the rail after setting the pace. He got nailed late by a class dropper that day. Little Meatball going 6 furlongs last time out. He's got to be on the engine. I like him better at 5.5. And as I go back, Nutty Boy, I think, sits the trip.
I think so, too. I agree with everything you said about Joey Sixpack. Nothing to knock about against his past couple of performances, but he's definitely going to be up front as well.
Let's go to race number 3 this afternoon on the turf at 7.5 furlongs. Claim is fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. 6 will be in this field, and I went with the number 4 Saratoga Ransom on top of my ticket, and this one I think is poised to notch her second career victory. She rallied from off the pace to finish second behind a repeat winner called Paper Dolly at this level and distance last time out, and I think, Acacia, this one gets more than enough pace needed to complement her patient running style.
Well, we're going to go back and show that race. She was in the back and off the screen. This was on October 23rd, the number 8 that day. She's actually 4 out of 5 in the money at this 7.5 furlong distance like that as well. The number 8, she's the gray. And the winner, Paper Dolly, had gotten a big lead early on. Now, she wasn't able to catch her that day. Again, Paper Dolly went on to win again after that. She was the speed throughout in this race, but Saratoga Ransom comes flying to finish second this day, beaten a length and a half. The reason that I went with the number 6 Bruna on top, dropping in class and cutting back slightly in distance, is that I think she's going to employ a similar kind of tactic. I think there's other potential speed in here, but it looks to me like number 6 Bruna is going to be the clear speed. And I think Saratoga Ransom has the potential to catch her, but I don't know if it's a lock.
Well, the only reason you might see, on the outside today, but it's only post 6, so it doesn't. She doesn't really have to use herself. I mean, I got her on the ticket, and if it's a speed play. With that said, if you watch the turf races here yesterday with the rail, by the rail setting today is 20 feet once again. It says 0 in the program, so please mark that down. Yesterday, it looked like horses that were stalking and closing had the upper hand on the turf course with that rail setting. I don't know if that's going to be true today, but certainly was that way yesterday.
So early on, definitely something to watch. I agree with you there. We did see some stalkers and closers fare well yesterday, but again, it was a speed play on my end. If Saratoga Ransom is not as far back as she has been lately, then she's definitely going to be dangerous in here. A horse that she finished right ahead of was also in this field today, and that's the number 5 Starship Carnegie. who's a pretty good record in this distance as well. Finished third last time when stretching out from 5 furlongs to this 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, she just has to find a little bit more for the stretch run again if this pace materializes. But with that said, if Bruna gets out on that lead and is able to slow it down, this is not saying a horse can't win on the front end, especially when you got that tactical advantage in here. So I think you got to use the 3 that we have on top, right, in that race.
I agree.
Fourth race this afternoon, 5 1/2 furlongs, maiden claiming 2-year-olds, $12,500. Let me look into my crystal ball here. This race is wide open. That's all I can say.
This is a tough one.
Scratch number 3, Uncle Mace. And boy, I found it tough here. I did go with the number 4, and so did you. And that's a gift from Haven, who's dropping to this 12.5 level again, cutting back to 5 1/2 furlongs after coming within a half length of exiting the maiden ranks. Was 47-1 last time at the 16 level, going 7 furlongs. I want to show you this race. I want to show you the stretch run. This horse was as game as you can be. Splits horses at 47-1 and comes running. We're going to go back and pick it up as they turn for home. And there you see the horse on the inside. That way was the number 3 horse this afternoon. And just splits horses here. And I just thought it was a good performance. And being a wide open race like it is, I just thought this horse was as game as you can be. And you'll see her just split the horses now and come running. And I just thought she would, look at this, she's fighting on and fighting on, fighting on. 47-1. I didn't want to have that horse that day because I would have been awful upset. There you see, just getting beat on the wire by the horse that just had the clean outside clear trip to close.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Consistency is not the word that you would use to describe the gift from Haven. He definitely stepped up last time, breaking from the rail there. And a much improved performance, and in this field he's going to be running late. Maybe he'll be a bit more forwardly placed. He was game there. If he shows that kind of gameness again, then he's going to be the toughest one, especially on that class drop. I did use the number 8 on the outside, El De Dani, for Francisco D'Angelo, not known for first-time starters, but this one has a pretty steady work tab here at Gulfstream Park West, debuting with Lasix and gets Tyler Gaffaliona.
Yeah, and you know, in races like this, you certainly have to give an extra look at a first-time starter here, because the other ones have not proven themselves. They're inconsistent, or they just haven't won. With that said, the horse that I put in second is 20-1 on the morning line, and that's pretty nacho. And this one is dropping to this level and breaking from the rail. This one went up and pressed the pace last time, faded in that race, was 75-1 that afternoon, but it was a 16 maiden test at the distance. My logic is here that this horse is going to be up there around and maybe hold on for a share at a price. So a wide open affair, like I said. I know you used the 6 in third.
Well, this is the other part of the uncoupled entry here. Both the gift from Haven and Gazprom, the 6, are from the barn of Gennady Dorochenko. Gazprom is cutting back in distance and moving back over to the dirt. Tried the turf last time at 2 turns and has been running against much tougher, so it's a huge drop from maiden special weight to 12.5.
Well, let's take a short break, and when we come back, I'll show you my Rainbow 6 ticket. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, over $72,000 already in the pool.
January 28th at Gulfstream Park, an icon takes flight. The world's richest thoroughbred horse race. 12 of the sport's finest horses. One race. $12 million on the line. Watch, wager, witness. Go to PegasusWorldCup.com for more.
Welcome back to Gulfstream Park West, and welcome back, Acacia and Ron. I hope you welcome us back. Put it that way. Race number 5, 7 1/2 furlongs on the turf. The turf is firm. Remember what I said about that rail? 20 feet today. Write it down. Claimers 3 and up. Non-winners of 3 in life. $8,000. Clean slate of 8 runners to kick off the Rainbow 6. Let's go to my ticket, and I went 4 deep in here. I just, I like a little bit of a long shot in here. I added it to my ticket. ticket. That was the 7 Mad Patriot. You know, and I just thought I went there, and you see in race number 7, this is a big chance I'm taking here because it's a pretty nice race. I went with Arch Villain. It's a full brother to a Grade 3 winner who's shipping in, hasn't run here yet. Then 3, 2, and 3 for $43.20. So as you can see, I wanted to go deeper in other races, but I had to pick a single, and it's tough to pick a single with some first-time starters in that race that are really nicely bred.
It is indeed, and definitely interesting to see how Arch Villain will run in there. As you mentioned, full brother to Grade 3 winner Taves on Ice, so we'll see how he does in that race there. I agree with the horses that you used in here. If you remember early in my early pick 5, for the same reason, to keep it affordable when wanting to go deeper in other races, I did single in here with the number 4 Soundcheck, who's looking for the 3rd win in a row. But this is not the easiest race to single in on. I just thought this was the most logical horse in this spot.
Yeah, you know, he's good. You know, he came right back and won that race. He defeated 12-5 2 lifetime claimers going a mile last time. I don't want to show you a stat on Soundcheck. This trainer, Mark Cassie, over the last 5 years, a winner last time out with 3-year-olds and up. But these are all claimers. So with that win last time, still only 8 for 61, 13%, 33% in the money, $1.64 ROI. What I want to show you, this barn is better known for its allowance level horses and everything like this. Now, this horse is on a good tear. I would not be surprised. I got it on top, so I'm in agreement with you. If I had thought about singling, maybe this would have been the one in here where I would have used as the single.
Absolutely. Well, it's a little bit of a question, too. Why does this horse drop off of the win last time? And, you know, it's not a huge drop from the 12-5 to the 8,000 level, and it's this non-winners of 3 now, trying to just to find the right puzzle piece spot for this horse, if you will. But again, been on a very good streak lately. Luca Panici stays in the saddle. I think there are a lot of upsides to the Soundcheck in here. I used the number 6 Burning Wild in second, who's moving back over to the turf after finishing 5th on the dirt last time and has been in very good form running late on the turf before that.
Yeah, he's 3 for 3 on the money in this course. 3 starts, 1 second and 2/3. There's no doubt he's going to be running late. So you can wait. If you bet him, you can wait a little while to watch him run through the stretch. He likes to come in the latter stages. I think you put a line through that one on the main track last time out. I split those two with the number 3, Run Saichi. Turning back slightly to this 7.5 furlong distance after stalking the pace. He finished second against this level of competition, going a mile last time out. Thought it was a good performance. I don't know. He's 3rd choice in the morning line. I think he's one there that you got to have on the ticket.
Yeah, that's a mistake on my part. I must have written that down wrong. I did want the 3, Run Saichi, in 3rd for me as well. I just agree. Has been in such good form lately, so it should be 4, 6, 3, 1 for me in here. I thought this one will be forwardly placed. Doesn't have to do such late running as Burning Wild does. And the number 1 Battled Front looks like he's going to be some of the speed in here.
Well, let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. 1 mile claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up, $6,250. 1 scratch on the bottom horse, on the number 9 scratch Diana's Comprise. And we're going to have our final pick 5 of the afternoon. And dying to see what Acacia did in race number 7, where I singled. So let's look at it.
Well, I went 4 deep, naturally. I agree with you that Arch Villain is going to be the one to beat in race number 7. But I thought that, as you alluded to earlier, there are some really nice first-time starters in here. It's a very solid maiden special weight in race number 7, one I'm really looking forward to. I went 2 deep in the opening leg, then 4 in the 7th, and then 2 deep in the next 2 after that. The 8th race, the allowance, the feature here, I think is really strong too. I had to leave our friend Papa Pig off of my pick 5 to keep it affordable, but some really nice runners in that spot, as we'll get to that race later. $48 for me.
Well, I started it off in here with the number 3 kicking in and stretching out to her most accomplished distance. She's had 7 races at this distance with 4 wins in the second. Return from a layoff, she finished a rallying second against 6,250 open claimers. That was going 7 furlongs. The trainer is Angel Quiroz. Jonathan Gonzalez handling that stretch out in distance today. And this is a play on the distance. Even so, a couple of those races were 1-turn miles across town. And if you're not aware, here at Gulfstream Park West, a mile is around 2 turns.
Absolutely. I agree with you on the distance here. Was beaten as the odds-on favorite it last time, which she'd never like to see for sure. But I think that this distance is really going to aid this horse here. I like that Jonathan Gonzalez stays aboard. I think there's a lot of upside to her. I landed on her as well. Also used the number 1 Little Katen, who you had in third. This one's taking a rather big drop in class, stretching out again to this mile distance. Has 3 wins at the mile too.
Yeah, and that was my logic with Little Katen. I split that with the number 8, who you have in third. That Dancing Cool stepping up to face multiple winners today, stretching out around 2 turns after posting her 2nd consecutive victory here when defeating 6,250 non-winners of 3 runners. That was going 6 furlongs. So a couple of big changes here. It's a big jump up from, to the next level of lifetime claimers and stretching out around 2 turns. But I had to go with the current form to put her on the ticket.
Absolutely. Well, it's a bit of a guess here, and not something I love when they're stretching out to the 2 turns after coming off some really strong finishes there, sprinting. I don't know about getting the distance here. Maybe she will. Certainly, as you said, going off the current form, this 3-year-old filly, again, trying that Open Company. Another one that's trying Open Company is the 5 Infiltrata, who won last time out, showing some speed. She's yet to put 2 good finishes back-to-back together, but I do think that she might be able to hold on with that speed for a share.
And yeah, we're pretty much in agreement there. Got a little flip-flop there. Let's go to race number 7 this afternoon. 5 1/2 furlongs, maiden special weight 2-year-olds. We've been talking about this race. We do have 2 scratches in here of number 1 Stoneheart and the number 5 Florida Cotton. And we were talking about the number 3 Archvillian, a full brother, the Grade 3 winner, and Grade 1 stakes place Tays on Ice, turning back to 5 1/2 furlongs after dueling throughout and finishing second in its Parks finale, going 3/4. This is Joe Orsino. I want to go back and show you that performance. At Parks, I'm going to pick up the stretch run. That horse today, Archvillain, is the 1A, and in dueling with the 4 to 5 favorite in there, whose name was Alex again. And I just thought this was a good performance. And I'm enamored with the breeding. I like the breeding. I like Joe Orsino. I think he's bringing his horse in, and you'll see he's on the inside the 1A, and just ding-donging it to the wire. I thought it was a really good performance here, and comes over, and then just at the end gets a little tired, and the other one gets a little upper hand. But was the 4 to 5 favorite that this horse got beat by. So I just thought of that performance on the breeding, which I like. I'm going to go with number 3 Archvillain as my single in there. But as we've been predicting, a lot of good, nicely bred horses in here.
A lot of nicely bred horses. As I said, this is a really exciting race here on the card. And Archvillain debuted on the slop. Didn't like that at all. His next 2 races on fast tracks were very solid. That most recent performance included where he showed that speed. He's a $335,000 son of Arch. She has some nice works at Palm Meadows as well, which really intrigued me. November 5th went 4 furlongs in 47 and 4. That's a very sharp work over there too, and then a little maintenance work after
Yeah, and
that.
I think you're going to see this horse when we go over to the championship meet, being in the stakes rounds. If he can get going here when he turns a 3-year-old, I think he's going to run well. I mean, that's how much I thought. I like the breed, and I think he's going to run well. We'll see how it works out for him. Now you went with a first-time starter in second, and that's Eloy Rod.
Well, this is another nicely bred one, a 2-year-old called by Gemologist. And what I really liked about this horse is the work tab. Talk about some sharp work. So we keep talking about how Gulfstream Park West is a bit of a deeper track. So to go 5 furlongs in a minute flat last time. That most recent work is very, very sharp coming in. Also had a minute flat, a minute and 1 from the gate prior to that for the 5 furlongs. So it looks like this horse is really coming in with some strong works.
Yeah, I mean, 3 5 furlong works over the track for a trainer, George Navarro. And then the number 8, I Want Mo, is the son of Uncle Mo, and he's making his career debut for Ed Plessis Jr. Series of solid workouts up at Palm Meadows showing in preparation. Trainer Ed Plessis Jr. also saddles Infusion in here with Nick Juarez at top. Nick Juarez will ride I Want Mo in here. So you got an uncoupled entry in there. And these are nicely bred horses. This is a real good race.
Really good race. I used both of Eddie Plessis' horses in here. I thought that they were both nicely bred. They're actually both 12 to 1 in the morning line, so you might get a little bit of a price, considering that I think most of the money will come in on Archvillain.
Yeah, and like I said, I singled there, but of course, just hearing what we said about that race, you might want to go a different way there. It's a good one, right? 8th race this afternoon, 1 mile allowance, optional claimer, 3 and up, or the optional claiming price, $16,000. Scratch the number 8 in here, Summer Scamp, and hard not to have, at least in my estimation, Russian Greek on top of your ticket. This one's going to try and make it 2 in a row after proving he could handle that jump in competition. comes back and a rousing 4 3/4 length victory against this level of competition, going a mile in the 16th. So Russian Greek is the horse I put on top of my ticket. And want to go back and show you a stat on Russian Greek from trainer Efren Loza Jr. over the last 5 years. Winner last time out, 3-year-olds and up on the turf. Limited sampling, but a good one. 6 for 22, 27%. He's in the money 50% of the time, and a positive ROI of $2.14. And I just thought that last race was pretty good. Small field. Yes. I mean, he had the field over a barrel. There was only 4 other runners in the field, but I just thought Russian Greek ran exceptionally well last time.
He did. He won by nearly 5 lengths that day, even though it was a 5-horse field, and he wired the field too. He's got that early speed, which I really think, oh, just got a bug fly right in my face. Excuse me. I thought that he has the pace advantage here for sure. I did use the number 3 in second, Minute Madness, who is coming back over to the dirt. Tried the turf last time out and had been in the Florida Sire Foolish Pleasure $150,000 stake prior to that. Finished a very good third, beating about 4 lengths behind Awesome Banner and Mr. Kisses, who were just dueling it out in a game stretch battle. So he was kind of best of the rest in there, but he certainly got some back class.
Yeah, I used him on my ticket too, but I had to bump up my fan favorite number 1, Papa Pig. Turning back to a mile, this might be the chink in its armor. 11 starts at that distance with only 2 wins, 5 seconds in the third after he uncorked his patented late run and fell short when finishing second in a really tough race to hard-knocking Chepstow. That was an $8,000 starter allowance going a mile in the 16th. You just look at the past performances of those races. Everybody in there is a hard-knocking campaigner. And Papa Pig's going to be coming running late. Maybe he's got to sit a little bit closer today at this mile distance, but couldn't leave him off the ticket. I mean, you got him on the ticket. You just didn't move him up and put him on your pick 5 ticket.
I know. I put him up as far to the front as I thought I could in this race. He's going to be running late for sure, and he actually was a bit of a price last time after being the favorite in a few of his previous starts, and he might be a little bit ignored in the wagering today, but certainly has the ability to hit the board.
You know, there's a horse in here, the number 5 Fearless Dragon, who's stretching out around 2 turns today. Shipped in from Saratoga for trainer Eric Guillot. Broke awkwardly in that race, but rallied to finish third, going 7 furlongs. And I think this is a horse you might want to go back and give a second look to, a horse that can certainly be on the trifecta and superfecta ticket. I think if he gets a clean break, second race in South Florida. So he's got a lot of positives for him, and that is the number 5 Fearless Dragon. So threw that one on the ticket. I don't know, he's third choice on the morning line, I believe, in race number 8.
I circled him and then ended up crossing him off and going for the number 4 Tagorian here, a $375,000 Son of Giants Causeway. We mentioned before how well the barn of Pedro Castillo's been going. He scratched out with the number 8 Summer Scamp. This one is still in. Was a well-beaten 4th last time, going a mile and a 16th behind Russian Greek. I think that he cuts back a little bit to this mile distance where he did break his maiden a couple starts back, and I think he could be a dangerous one in this spot. Fearless Dragon, yes, for all the reasons that you mentioned, just couldn't go deep enough.
Yeah, you know, the 4 horse in here, Tokori, you leave this guy out, Pedro Castillo, the trainer, the way he's been going lately, at your peril, as we should say. Race number 9 this afternoon, a 1-mile turf maiden event claiming fillies, 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratched the one La Lova, also scratched the main track only number 9 in here, and we both went with the number 5, and that is Beautiful Alley.
Well, this one finished a very good second last time in her first start on the turf. That was going 7.5 furlongs against $20,000 maidens. Showed some speed that day, and again, it was only beaten by half a length. And I'm going to give a trainer stat on trainer Antonio Ciaffi in the past 5 years with horses that were in the money last time out on the turf. 6 for 24, 25% win, 11 for 24, 46% of the time in the money, and then more than double ROI of 409. Maybe sometimes ignored in the wagering or had some big prices in there, but it was the percentages that really intrigued me.
Yeah, and if you look at this race, I think that the number 5 Beautiful Alley is going to have an easier time on or near the front end. I think she was hounded. You know, I think this is a better spot for her. So I like her on the ticket. Now, you went with the number 6 horse in second here, and I went with the number 6 in second, too, be on his way. Look at that. I thought maybe you had picked a different horse than me, but
not this time.
This one stretching out to a mile after rallying 4 wide was the tepid favorite that afternoon to finish third behind aforementioned Beautiful Alley in their recent battle. That was at 7.5. Larry Bates adds a strong finisher in Paco Lopez to handle that rematch. This horse is going to be running late and running good late, and maybe if Beautiful Alley, what I think will happen, has an easier time, I don't think the 6-horse will catch it.
No, that was my thinking as well. But because of that, with the strong finishing angle, that rider change, finished that good third the last time. 2 back, had some trouble in the trip there, didn't have any room to run. I think that this one is really rounding into her form, and she's certainly one to have on your ticket in here. The number 8 Scat R, but towards the outside for Jane Sibeli, moved over to the turf last time and tried special weight company. Very well beaten there. So dropping now to a quarter, shipping in from the Meadowlands.
She needs to wake up at this level because that was not a really pretty performance last time out. But once again, we mentioned these different trainers that you really have to give a second look to. All our horses that have shipped down have been running well. She spots them perfectly. So Jane Sibeli, tough to leave that one off the ticket. We're going to close out the Sunday card with race number 10, 5 1/2 furlongs. Maiden claiming 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratch the number 1 in here, Tide of the Desert. And I went with the number 8, Icono, and I'll tell you why. And this one is beaten only a neck in his career debut, I should say, at this level and distance. That was over at Gulfstream Park, dropping, turning back. He finished at distant third. That was a 50 maiden test, going 3/4 of a mile. It's a drop play. I thought this one on the drop might be the right one.
I can understand that for sure. I did go with the number 7, Catty Cat. I used Icono a little bit lower down on the ticket. It was a distant third last time against Tougher, yes. And so, yes, it's going to be the drop in here. But I thought Catty Cat might be stronger, and this is a bit of a speed play. Does have some speed and finished a good third in his debut against Special Weight Company, but hasn't been seen for 5 months. It was also on a sloppy track. But this is what intrigued me. I want to give a trainer stat on Michael Yates in the past 5 years with horses going maiden special weight to maiden claiming in sprint races. 6 for 28, 21% win, 11 for 28, 39% of the time in the money, and a positive ROI of 222. And I think that this one can certainly another drop play in here off of the layoff do well.
And number 2, Time to Shine, a half-brother to the $100,000 OBS champion winner, 2-step time debuting for George Navarro. Trio of so morning workouts, not like the one earlier, and that was why I backed off this one. I think you do a little tote board watching on this horse to see if it's taking some money. I'm not enamored with the workout pattern, put it that way.
I thought exactly the same thing, and we both had the horse in third for all of those reasons. The number 3, All Hands Up, is adding blinkers after a very good third last time. Didn't like the slop at all in his first 2 starts. Got a fast track finally last time, going 5 1/2, and was beaten by only 3 1/4 lengths. This is definitely, I think, one that's going to be on the engine.
Well, we are ready to get this show on the road. First, we're going to turn it over to Chris for all the updated scratches and everything you need to have a fun day here, and we'll be back in just a bit.
We'll be back in a bit. Good luck today, everyone.
What do I love about horse racing? Everything.